Hi, Victoria. Thank you for joining us. Tell me a little bit about yourself and your role and your position in the industry to kick us off.
Yeah, well, it's great to be here. So thank you for having me. My name's Victoria Reid, and I am the CEO and founder of Better Change, and we are a gambling consultancy. Focused on promoting the concept of positive play. So my background is actually I worked for a number of operators in the space, and was always a little bit frustrated that the industry is damned if it does and damned if it doesn't. And we were always sort of getting these negative media stories saying sort of we didn't do enough to look after our players. And that wasn't the reality that I was seeing from myself or our competitors, our peers, or anyone else. I saw that everyone actually cared a huge amount. But there were a number of reasons why they'd become sort of demotivated to sort of go over and above, particularly like those media campaigns sometimes being some of the reasons that they're like, well, we'll just carry on doing the bare minimum. And I really wanted to try and set an organization up that tried to show that actually doing the right thing from an ethical and moral standpoint doesn't have to be at the expense of commercial viability.
Absolutely. Well, you're obviously at a very interesting juncture, sort of within the industry, as you've mentioned. But something that we're sort of specifically talking about today, and you've sort of been partial to being a winner of the most influential winning campaign in the past. Tell me a bit about your experience of that and how you sort of came to find out about the program and how we've gotten here to you judging the 2025 edition.
I know I still have huge imposter syndrome and don't know how I've ended up getting here, because I look around the industry now and I see the huge number of amazing and influential women that are around us, and to think that I'm even mentioned in the same breath as any of them still feels completely alien to me. But it's also something I'm hugely grateful for. When I won a few years back, like, to say that it was both humbling and empowering is a complete understatement. But what it's really done for me is given me a platform and a way to connect with sort of other women in the sector, and that's been hugely valuable. I got to know about the program purely because someone nominated me. It's not something I ever would have had the confidence or thought of to nominate myself for. But actually, I think the first time I heard about it was when I'd won, and was like, well, that's an amazing surprise. And I have no idea to this day who put me forward, but I'll be forever grateful, because the biggest thing that I think has come from it, if I really think about the impact it's had, is that I maybe thought for the first time, maybe I have something that I could pass on. And I'd been asked to sort of get involved in a number of things like Global Gaming Women, mentoring, all sorts of things. And I'd always sort of politely declined because I thought, oh, I can't add any value to that. Whereas on the back of this, I've thought actually, 10 years ago when I started in the intro, 11 years ago now, there really weren't that many women around that I could look up to and sort of see as sort of like, that's not where I want to be or where I want to go, but that's someone that I respect and admire and want to sort of follow in the footsteps of. I've always been the type of person that does try and sort of benchmark myself against what others are doing and try and emulate what they're doing, both what they are doing and also figure out what I don't want to do. If I think back to who I was thinking about in those days, they were all men. And actually, to see that that's changed is hugely inspiring and important for the industry. And I've now accepted a place on the committee for Global Gaming Women, and have been one of the founding members of a mentoring program for sort of the international division. And that's been incredible to help and think that I can do anything at all, to now have the confidence myself to sort of mentor somebody. That was an amazing experience, and to help sort of see the next generation being developed, and hopefully giving them many more inspiring women that they can look up to and sort of see, a path for themselves that perhaps wasn't there for me like 11 years ago.
That's such a fantastic message. Thank you. And I have to say, one of my favorite sort of parts of the influential women experience last year, sort of putting it together for the first time, was informing the women that had won and then sort of discovering the program for the first time, understanding what it meant, and sort of really finding out that they'd been sort of honoured by their peers for their achievements and for sort of standing out and championing change. And I thought that was just a really enjoyable experience to see all these women sort of celebrated.
To say, I actually think that what you've just said there is really clean, because what we've done and what the program does is it sends a crystal clear signal and message that diversity and inclusion aren't just things that we talk about in the industry, but the things that we actively celebrate. And that's really good. It's important to walk the walk as well as talk the talk. And this program helps to do that. So kudos to you guys for doing it.
Thank you. No, and absolutely, I 100% agree. What would you say to someone who is not familiar with the program, obviously hears this sort of messaging and sees our campaign and either would like to submit an admission for themselves or a peer of theirs, but maybe doesn't know where to start or doesn't have the confidence to do so?
I would say just do it. Absolutely. This is all about empowering and inspiring people. And, we need to start by empowering ourselves. And if we don't empower ourselves, can we expect other people to do it for us? And so even if you don't feel the confidence to do it for yourself, maybe have a conversation with a colleague and say, oh, I'd love to be nominated for this at some point. And I'm sure that they'll give you the much needed confidence, if not put a recommendation in for you. But likewise, to just have a look around you and see what inspiring women there are that you can support, and put a nomination in on their behalf. And that is the one thing that I think the women in this industry do really well, and certainly is my experience with Global Gaming Women, is I've never met more supportive group that are really pushing each other and encouraging people to not let ego, imposter syndrome, or anything get in the way. And I don't mean ego from the negative point of view of being sort of an arrogant ego, but the ego that's that message that's telling us girls, I'm too shy or I'm too nervous to do this. Actually, we need to be loud and proud and shout about the achievements that we've made in this amazing industry, because we do have a lot to add to it and a lot of value, and we shouldn't be ashamed of that. So yeah, if you can't bring yourself to nominate yourself, then definitely have a look around you and see who you could be a support to, and help to build their confidence as well.
Absolutely, I would agree. Now, from a judging perspective, I'm always keen to sort of get feedback and understand what criteria people think we should really be looking at. Um, what are kind of some of the sort of underlying, I guess, behaviors or experiences or roles that you think that we should be looking at throughout this process once we get submissions in?
I think that the most deserving winners of this kind of award are the people that are absolutely helping to inspire confidence in other women. And like I said, that collaboration, not that there aren't men that are doing it, but I think that's potentially a superpower that women have, is that collaboration and that want to sort of see everybody around them do well, rather than sort of, just looking out for themselves. And I think that it's important to look for women that are doing that at every stage of their career. It's very easy as well to look at the most influential people being the CEOs and the C-suite amongst us, which of course that's inspiring and amazing, but there's also just as many inspiring and amazing things happening sort of lower down the ranks, and people that are sparking conversations about leadership and inclusivity, people that are actively encouraging the companies to include sort of diverse voices, and sort of seeing how that ripple effect that is being used to change the industry, and how that person is helping that ripple effect to potentially change and move our industry forward is what I would consider to be a way that the campaign has truly sort of shown its purpose. I think a lot of people will see the impact that you make before you do. And so, being able to use this platform as a way of weeding out those sort of, rising stars, as well as those who've already made it, is just as inspiring. Sometimes more so, because we already know who most of the C-suite are. And we'll already be looking at them and looking to them for guidance and things of tips for what to do and what not to do. So actually the learnings from perhaps sort of a few rows below is just as valuable.
No, that's absolutely true, and I 100% agree. And looking through submissions last year, I was really sort of touched at the number of submissions that were of sort of like mid
Yeah.
manager level and sort of below women, but who had clearly made a big impact on their team around them in the company. And I think the sort of two-prong criteria that we look at is influential within a sort of industry-wide perspective, and then influential within a sort of team company specific perspective, and obviously how the two can sort of also be influenced by each other. But that's a really important message, and I appreciate that, because I think a lot of people will think, oh, we're really looking just for sort of those really sort of top level C-suite executives, but it's not true at all. Well, brilliant. Thank you, Victoria. I really appreciate the time, and really pleased to have you on board with us, and look forward to the campaign coming up.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's great to be part of it, and good luck with everything.
Absolutely. Brilliant. Thank you.